Wow, check out this road. It's pretty messed up. Oh my. Are we gonna make it? We are standing in the back of an old park by the woods in what appears to be a dump. Now you may be asking yourself, why are they standing in a dump in the back of the woods?
Well, there's an interesting story here. The largest small-scale model ever built in the history of the world is hidden in these woods somewhere behind us, abandoned decades ago by the United States government. Also, this used to be a prisoner of war camp. It housed Nazis during World War II, and they play a role in this story too. We're going to go back there, creep into the woods, and try to find this spot and tell you all about it. We cordially invite you to come along for the adventure.
Come along. First thing we found is an old abandoned building.
Yeah, we'll check it out first. Here we go. It's falling apart. Roof caving in. Pretty creepy. All right. Heather said we don't need to check it out too much.
Brody up in there. The Army Corps of Engineers started building this in 1943 and started using it in 1949.
This was brought about by the Great Mississippi Flood of 1927. This is a full model of the Mississippi River. The entire Mississippi River is like 45% of the whole United States is represented on this small-scale model. Herbert Hoover, president at the time, called the flood of 1927 the greatest peacetime calamity in the history of the country. This cost the country millions upon millions of dollars. It happened again 10 years later. They tried to fix the problem, but it wasn't quite fixed right. So that's why they began to build this model. Let's flip around here and get a little bit of a look at it from up above. As you can see, it's pretty overgrown in a lot of spots. We're at kind of a viewing tower that we've walked up to. There's another viewing tower right there. Let's see what kind of shape it's in. It doesn't look to be in the greatest shape.
Doesn't look too safe or sturdy at all.
They had the woods cleared out much better back then. It's very overgrown now.
No, I'm not exactly sure how far up we should go here. If we were to fall, I think this would not be too well. And it's rusting. You can see in here, all in the steps, it's rusting. A little nerve-wracking coming up here. Okay, we're going up one more. We're really doing this, aren't we? We might come down at a rapid pace soon. Okay, we made it to the top. This thing doesn't seem so sturdy.
No, not at all. It's kind of bent and out of shape, and then the metal is really rusted badly on this thing. It's pretty high up too. Let's take a look. And here is a look out at the project. As you see, trees have gotten in the way of this viewing tower, so it's more like a look at trees. And it is a look at the actual project. Let's go around. What do you think on this side?
I haven't moved.
This thing's a little nerve-wracking to walk on. Yeah, we can't see much from up here, so maybe we'll go back down.
They had to have a lot of water to make the model work.
So they built their own water tower, which is up behind us, and then in this direction over here appears to be the old abandoned pump house.
They started working on this project in 1943 during World War II.
Yeah, that meant there weren't a lot of people around that could do the work because a lot of people were off in the war. But they did have some prisoners of war Actually, some German prisoners of war, Nazis. So basically, Nazis were a big part of this. Nazi engineers that the U.S. had captured, they put them to work right here on the model.
These little stones right here, they're not too sturdy when you step on them. Here's a wider view of the model. This was built using very precise detail.
You can see where the water actually flowed through there. They would pump water into this, and every detail had to be just right so they knew what water would actually do here in the U.S. as it traveled through the Mississippi River under varying conditions. They put everything in here just how it's set up in all different towns throughout the country. As a matter of fact, you can go online now and see a map that kind of shows you where you are as you walk through different parts of the structure.
They would use divots or plugs like these to help provide a roughness that would stimulate the different types of material used throughout the waterbed. Men that were enlisted got paid 90 cents for an 8-hour shift. There were also non-commissioned and commissioned officers who did not have to work. However, if they wanted to help out, they could always volunteer. Here's an interesting fact. When the city of Jackson got their hands on this place, they formed a park around it and made it into a landmark. However, it cost way too much to maintain it. Now, it is overgrown and fully abandoned. It took 26 years for this project to be completed, and only 6 years later, it was used one last time in 1973. One of the problems that they ran into when building this model is that it was being dealt with on a local basis.
Yeah, there'd be a problem in one town, so they'd fix that problem with a levee or whatever they would use. But then that water from that town would go sailing on down to another town, and that town would have a flooding issue or other types of issues. So that's why they decided they had to go ahead and build this model so they could really get a look at the overall picture and look at it from a full perspective instead of just a small local perspective.
It's impossible to show you everything here because the wood has grown up so much around it.
Yeah, this thing is just so massive, but it's hard to really show it to you guys. But it's something like 8 miles in total and hundreds of acres that this site is built on. It is really insane.
We are not exactly sure what these are.
Not so sure on that.
But if you have a clue, please comment in the comment section below.
Yeah, this is an interesting find out here in the middle of the woods. You never know what you're going to see in the middle of the woods. Y'all be sure to hit the like button, smash the subscribe button, and ring the notification bell so you can come along with us on future adventures.
Come along.